We're with Jamie Belden, one of the 3 senior captains on the Eastern Connecticut women's soccer team, the Warriors, preparing for their season openers at the Springfield College tournament this coming weekend. Jamie, you guys went through a real tough preseason of about a week. Talk about what's involved in preseason training.
The most important thing about preseason is coming in fit. Everything's easier. The team can move forward faster if everyone comes in fit. And from then on, it's about increasing your fitness as a team together and getting to know each other.
Well, what's the measuring stick for being fit?
We have 4 fitness tests that we use. They're used as standards so that everyone has to come in fit and do the work over the summer. We have 1 fitness test that everyone has to pass in order to be able to play in a game.
And that test is pretty easy, right?
Nope.
Can you talk a little about how that test works?
Yeah, our main test is the 100-yard 14-minute test, and it's a series of 1,400-yard sprints, jogging back consecutively, and it gets faster as you go, and it's definitely a tough one.
And you have to pass it.
Yeah, you
can
play in scrimmages, but you cannot play in games until you have passed the test.
Well, even if you were a person that played in the summer, played in the league, trained, is there anything that you can do in the summer that's going to 100% prepare you for preseason?
Honestly, no. You can come in, do as much interval running as you can, but game fitness is so much different than sprinting up and down a field. It's about like sideways movement, turning. It just adds a lot more.
Plus, you're talking about, at least this year, you're working out in like 90-degree weather with 100% humidity, and you're working on the turf. So that's got to, just the conditions alone can probably drain you.
Yeah.
Right?
And with 2 or 3 practices a day, it's definitely hard.
Yeah, talk about that. Talk about on a general day when you guys would start your day, when it would start, maybe when it would end on a general day.
So for preseason, typically we would start, our first practice would be 8 to 10 in the morning, and then we'd go to breakfast, have like a meeting usually, and then our second session is right after lunch, come back, have a little snack, and then another session at night. And the night session is usually scrimmaging within the team.
So you guys are running any sessions on the turf in the middle of the day when it's the hottest, or you try to avoid that?
Sometimes we'll practice at Nevers Field if it's really hot, or some days we'll weight train or swim, depending on how our bodies feel from the previous day.
Soccer, the fall sports are unique in that you come in 90-degree weather, and by the last game of the year, it's usually like, you know, below 0.
Yeah.
So you got both elements going in. You guys went 7-0 in the conference last year, in your preseason #1 in the Little East Conference this year. Talk about going 7-0 in the conference. I know things didn't go well at the end. I mean, you didn't win the conference tournament, but to go 7-0 in a conference that includes Western and Keene and UMass Boston, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, definitely a great accomplishment. We play in a tough conference, and doing that again this year will be tough, but we definitely hope to do so.
Well, you guys, the good thing this year is that you've virtually returned everybody, with the exception of the goalie, Rachel Skelton, and that includes your 4 starting defensive players. Now, you're going to have a new goalie this year. A couple of them are back from last year, and a couple of them are new. Talk about the relationship and the communication that's necessary between defensive players and goalies.
Yeah, so basically as defenders, our job is to protect the goalie, and she wants to help us to do that also, so she doesn't get shots on goal. So she has to talk to us a lot, and as well as we have to talk to everyone in front of us, because we see the field more than anyone because the play's in front of us. So definitely a lot of communication needs to happen, and also we want to avoid getting any shots on our goalie.
Well, our goalie last year, Rachel, I mean, she had a great goals against average, but she only had to make 4 saves a game. Did you guys get comfortable with Rachel back there for 2 years? And it'll be in the preseason, was it a little bit more getting used to what these new goalies are going to want from you and what you're going to want from them?
Yeah, you definitely have to get used to the goalies, but returning most of our defenders, all of our defenders, we're used to playing with one another, so I think we could do it again.
And we talked about this a little beforehand. Really, defensive players don't get any credit. You know what I mean? Soccer is all about scoring goals. You know, Emily Betcher scoring goals, people having assists. But don't you think the real core of a good team is the defense? I mean, in conference games, you guys only give up 3 goals. Isn't defense more, even though it's unheralded, isn't that what your foundation is of a good team?
Yeah, at all costs, we want to avoid any shots on net because anything could happen, really. So we don't want any shots on goal. We want to clear the ball out of the back, control it out of the back.
That always seems like that's been, at least under Chris D'Ambrosio, that's always been the key. He has always emphasized defense, right? Now, coming up through the ranks in high school and travel ball, you played a lot of center mid and stuff, and now you've switched to defense the last couple of years. Do you have any preference as to which position you play?
They're different, but as long as I'm on the field, I want to help my team do whatever they need me to do.
What do you think is going to be in terms of this year's team, what will be the strength? Since everyone's back, I'm assuming the strength of this year's team is probably going to be the same strength as it was last year. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, and we're hoping the freshmen can contribute also. Just have a strong defense, put the ball in the back of the net.
Well, talking about being competitive, when you came in as a freshman, and you played a lot all 4 years, is it a real adjustment to play at what is the biggest adjustment of playing at the college level as opposed to the high school or even at the travel ball level?
It's a huge time commitment. You have to spend a lot of time with the team, and you need to grow those bonds so that you play well on the field together. Competition is way harder, even within the team and outside the team also.
How is it harder? In other words, is the biggest adjustment maybe the pace of the game? Yeah,
it's definitely a lot faster. But also, someone sitting on the bench, they could take your spot because everyone's great players here.
Yeah. When you're in high school, I mean, you're probably the best player on the field. Right? Yeah. You're probably one of the best players on the field. Did you feel a big adjustment when you came in, like as a freshman? Did you look around and say, I'm going to have to really step things up, or was it like more of just a smooth transition for you?
It was definitely intimidating coming in as a freshman. Yeah, I still played, but it was definitely wow, these girls are so much bigger than me. So.
Well, Maggie, I mean, when Maggie came in as a freshman, Maggie Boddington, who was an All-American this year, she had completely lost her confidence coming in as a freshman. It's like, I can't even play at this level. And this is only Division III.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm sure that goes away after the first couple weeks or so.
Yeah, I think it takes a little bit of time to get used to playing with people and shake your fears out.
Yeah, right. To prove to yourself that you can play. Yeah. Last question, James. You guys were #1 in the preseason poll, and we talked about this off camera a little. Talk about the goals that you guys set, or the team sets, or the coach sets at the beginning of every year. What are the things that you're shooting for?
We have a lot of goals listed out. We want to be 7-0 in the conference again. We want to win our conference tournament. We want to go to the NCAA tournament. We want to be 100 at home, 500 on the road, and yeah, hopefully, really main goal for this year, I want to get to the NCAA tournament.
It would be a great way to end your career.
Yeah, definitely.
So the Warriors are going to open up. They are going to be playing this coming weekend. They're going to be playing at the Springfield College Invitational. They'll play Roger Williams on Friday, and then they will play the host team, Springfield College, on Saturday. Jamie, thanks for being with us. Good luck.
Thank you.